All right, so this will be the first in hopefully a series of videos on our Super Lap Battle build for 2025. Building this for a customer who, saw the excitement of Super Lap Battle this year and said, I want to be a part of that, and if we're going to be a part of that, we want to win. So we're building this with the goal of setting the limited class track record and winning limited class next year. We'll basically make a video every day where we go over what we've done for the last since the last video. And since this is the first one, I'll kind of give a summary of the goals of the car and where we're at right now. We've got the car, an outside guy caged it. Arthur Werchan at Blipspeed did the cage for us because we wanted this one to be, more of a show product, and he's just a little bit nicer at doing that work than us. We have the car all the way stripped down. We've cleaned the chassis from the 60,000 miles of road and track debris that it had. And we've got maybe half of the parts here in-house to start putting it together. What the goal of this car is going to be will be to have a twin turbo with two G30 770s on a 2GR engine built by Montoon with a air-to-water intercooler on a Holley high ram intake. That will all be controlled by a Motec M150 running GPRP Pro. And even though it's not a paddle shift car, we still went with Pro so that we can have better cuts on the lever shift sequential. It's going to use a 7-speed sequential being provided by, well, I can't actually remember the name of the sequential manufacturer. They're in Eastern Europe, and they've actually been making a lot of sequentials. You'll probably see if you look Facebook and Instagram lately. The Corolla GR uses them in a lot of their builds. Then in the interior, we're gonna have a partially stock interior. We're working on getting the dash back installed around the cage. We're gonna use instead of the OEM instrument cluster, we'll use a C1212. Which will also be the rear view camera, which is why that's too big. It's obviously too big for this car, but it's appropriate when you consider it's replacing the monitor for the rear view camera as well. We will chop off the front of the car at the crash structure and build a cage to hold all the cooling up in the front. The main problem with this car is gonna be cooling. We kind of expect that there might be a couple of rounds of adding radiators to side pods and even in the trunk to let us do a lap at that horsepower level. It'll have a full billet suspension. It'll have the better kind of control arms, not the seam welded kind, the other kind that I can't remember the name of now. It'll have Bosch ABS. It'll have all custom wiring with very modular sections. So if we have to change something or we have a damaged wiring section later, there'll be 6 harnesses so you can take apart and just replace one of them. We're gonna run carbon Tillet C1 seats. They are like native to fit into a Lotus using the good Tillet brackets, and are also FIA approved, and they're a halo seat, so you don't need to run a center net. So they're awesome for this kind of project where we want to keep it, treatable is not the right word, but having a stock looking interior to let us stay in limited class and take people out for joyrides and so on. Because the purpose of this car is really for entertainment. We have one goal to win one event, but after that it's for showing off, going to COTA, taking your friends out for rides and that kind of thing. So the next step for the car is we're working on the wiring harness right now. I think we'll probably see some videos in the next couple of days of mocking up the engine in the engine bay, building sections of the wiring harness, getting the suspension mounted onto the car. We have all 4 corners kind of built up on their own, so we just need to assemble those onto the car, start test fitting the shocks. We actually have another customer very generously is letting us borrow his Olin's ILX 4-ways for this. So make sure that we have no clearance issues with those, with the control arms and stuff we're using. And then just start solving problems after that. Where's everything gonna mount? Where's all the coolant hoses gonna run? How big of a radiator can we put in it? Where do I get that radiator? And just go through problems like that as best we can. So we'll see you guys next video when we talk about some of the wiring we're doing.